Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. As promised, I'm on the test server here. I'm going to try an all epic team against Nightmare Chimera. Really what I'm trying to do here is just show you how the right type of abilities and gearing can help you start to push much higher against this content. And, against Nightmare, to get entry level chests, we need 18 mil. In fact, you know what? I don't think I'm going to get anywhere near that. So why don't I just go to Brutal? Brutal, let's see if we can get anywhere near the 36 with this team. I guess I'll do a run on both just so you can see that it working, because what you'll be able to do is upgrade. Yeah, and the upgrades are obviously where you start to get the higher levels of damage. But who's in the squad? Who's going to try and make this work? I want decrease attack on a ton of the time. Okay, it's such an important debuff in this fight. So Rector Draft is like this ninja decrease attacker because she can actually do it for a weak hit as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah, she's got a reasonable chance to land it, and it's on an A1. We've also got decrease attack coming from my Sepulchre here. So it's the old guard, honestly, coming back to play like the old clan boss group. Second thing I absolutely need is a revive. You are going to die against the second form. Okay, unless you find a new way of doing it, you're going to die. I've actually sneakily got 3 revives in this team. We've got Rector Draft's revive, brilliant. We've got Godseeker's normal revive, but we've also got her passive revive. And that just means that when the ram, I think it's the ram form, is it? Whatever the second form is, when it takes me down, instantly I pop up. So I'm not waiting for the revive. I instantly get back in the game. I do want block debuffs, so Sepulchre's given me the block debuffs, and we get it back on a reasonable duration. I do want, ideally, decreased speed. Now, Phoenix comes in with a whole bunch of stuff, honestly. He's bringing decreased speed, he's bringing decreased defense, he's bringing block buffs and block active skills, and then he also hits quite hard. So, Phoenix, I want him more for his debuffs here than I want him for his damage. But he does bring all of those things. So he's actually kind of an MVP for random group of debuffs, especially when you pair him with my damage. So my damage is going to be, yes, we know, Geo, he's always in there if we need a good team against a boss. HP burn and weaken. And basically when the burn is out, his passive kicks in, we start doing a decent amount of damage. Geo, though, comes up extremely strong here because when the enemy's got a buff, he can steal it away. So that the first form with the increased speed, we can remove that. And then also, is it the Viper form that steals all your buffs? Can remove that as well. And then also he's got decreased accuracy, which actually comes in pretty clutch as well. So there's a lot going on for 5 epics. When I've spoken about, champions that are going to rise in value and what we need for our teams, generally I'm looking at legendaries that have just got multiple things in their kits. All of these are bringing multiple things, okay? And that's why they're all great epics. And it's why we see them, honestly, again and again in different content. I've also got 2 champions that are just giving me healing. Yeah, so natural healing from Godseeker and Rector just means I've got a chance to stay alive and heal through a lot of the damage. So I'll show builds and stuff at the end, but let's just let this play out. We'll go on auto here. So we've got, obviously, my buffs going on nice and early. We're blocking his ability to put increased speed up. I've got 6-piece protection set on my Sepulchre to try and protect some of these buffs that go on. And then basically all of our damage comes from the burn being up and then him hitting us. Okay, so everyone's got War Master, I believe. Maybe not Phoenix, but everyone else has got War Master, which gives me a chance to, constantly get some damage away from that. My resistance is pretty high on 2 of the champs, but not. I don't have the stats. I'm trying not to build insane builds. They are good builds, though, be aware, because this is a tough boss. You can't just rock up here with like 100 speed and 50 accuracy and say, where's my stuff? This is a tough boss. You might be able to do that on easy, but you're not going to be able to do that when you get to higher levels of fighting here. So what I'll do is I'll let this run. Well, maybe I'll show a couple of the form changes. So form change 1 nukes me down. I'm interested. Firstly, she didn't just get straight back up, which is weird. Why didn't she get straight back up? Don't know. Anyway, he nukes me down. I think Sepulka, with her passive, might be able to stop that death. Sometimes it's like a 50-50. But I think once he starts hitting you to death, you're definitely dying. From what I've seen so far. But decreased attack going on now is nice. I'll show one rotation of form changes, I guess, because yeah, see, Sepulka should have had a 1 in 2 chance of blocking some of that damage. So maybe it just doesn't work. Does he actually have a passive that says none of that stuff works? Maybe. I got all sorts going on. Maybe. But anyway, you can see that you're definitely going to die against that form. So you have to have a reviver if you want to continue on past that element there. Even on brutal, it's, you know, you're just basically killing yourself. But yeah, we get a nice amount of healing going on here. We start to get our buffs back in. He's put his increased speed up. So I don't know if it's speed tuned in any way to sort of stop stuff happening. The main thing I want is Geo's burns out as much as possible. And then things like decreased speed on him from our Phoenix as much as possible as well. So we get more hits in. More hits just means we've got more chance of doing damage. I don't have a cleanse. So upgrades here. You could bring a cleanser in as someone who also does block debuffs. That way, when we get all these debuffs on us, we've got a chance to actually clear them out rather than, you know, just kind of running with them. You know, bearing in mind, I do want a full auto team here. I don't want a team where you've got to manual it. If you're manualing it, the fight's completely different. You're choosing when you're going to use your skills and all that type of stuff. This form's not too bad. It does a decent amount of damage, but we can get through it, especially when decreased attack is on. So it's, again, really just getting that debuff out there as much as we can and having a chance to do some damage through Geo. If you don't have Geo, or if you just want a straight upgrade, Ninja. Ninja's doing the same job as Geo, really, but more consistently, I would say. Like, getting through to his A2 with the burn hits, that's where the damage is going to come from for him. But you can see now what we're like a quarter of the way through, and I've done like 6 mil damage. So I think Brutal probably is about the cap for this team to get the damage done. I have got something in my head, though, that Geo plus Brogni, like old school clan boss team, could be kind of mental as well in terms of just getting a bunch of damage away. But you can see here, we're not in any sort of risk on damage coming into us. So the line is relatively comfortable in this form. And yeah, he's going to switch now. Unfortunately, we just unloaded a whole bunch of our debuffs right when he's about to change form. Again, that's the problem with playing on full auto. And I would suggest if you want to try and maximize your damage and you're struggling, manual's the way to do it. But it is a long run. You know, you're talking, it's probably going to be a good 40 minutes of your day if you're going to go manual. So it's whether you've got time or want to do that. But you can see we're kind of keeping nicely topped up. That block debuffs is really important. And it just means that we're not taking a whole bunch of provokes and stuff. Decreased attack means that we're under no threat against this boss at all. And obviously we're waiting at this point for Geo to get his burn away. But he did it right at the end of the last fight. Or maybe we've got it on already, actually. But yeah, that's where our damage comes from. Nothing else, really, apart from maybe some War Master hits. One thing we have found out as well, by the way, is every form has got different stats. So we're going to get them onto the website soon. But things like accuracy requirements and stuff like that, it does change per form. So here we go into this one that steals buffs. Obviously, some of mine were protected, so that's good. I've got just one champion, and that's Geo, that's got any chance of clearing them out in this set. So Geo's A2 is basically what I've got to wait for. I will say I set the... Is he going to do it? I wonder if he's going to do it, actually. Sometimes his A2 is a bit awkward. I'm just going to come off of auto when it's his turn and just see if he's going to do it on full auto without me setting his presets. So he's got it available. He's going to use his A3 anyway. Not that he needs it right now. Let's see if on his next hit, if he actually does his A2. Because I would suggest either way, you just set it up so that he does his A2 as his second priority. Or maybe his first priority against this boss. I think that was his A2, right? So yeah, maybe he's doing it. Maybe he's fine. but we're coming up for halfway. We've done like 11 mil. We do have it on the website, like how much damage you need. So for Brutal to get the top chest, it was 36 million damage. So we're not going to one key it, but we're going to get a good chunk of the way there. Burn goes out again. And that is, so I've shown you now a full rotation of forms. I'll let it play through to the end. As you can see, we're in no risk of being dead with the stats and stuff that I've got on here. So, you know, that's one thing, but there's that buff still coming in. Nice. Yeah, we'll let it play through. Okay, we're coming towards the end. It's going to be around 21 mil. And to get to the top chest is like 36. So it's a comfortable 2 key. In terms of the damage, yeah, all the damage really coming from Geo there, 12.3 million. Phoenix with like 3.7. Honestly, it was comfortable to hit 65 or 65 turns-ish. You know, the way you get this damage up is to bring one more damage dealer and drop one support. In all honesty, Phoenix is kind of a support here. He's only doing, you know, 3 mil of damage. So you could drop someone like the Godseeker, albeit like it's just way more comfy having the 2 revives. I don't know. There's a lot you can change. Sepulchre, is she really bringing enough benefit other than block debuffs? Is a question you could ask. She is bringing decreased attack as well. It's one of those. Once you start swapping one out, you feel like you kind of need to swap 2 out for 2 new ones. But obviously, we've got legendaries that can help us out, you know, on accounts. So it depends what you've got. You know, go and check out really the key requirements of skills and then see what you've got in the tank. But yeah, 21.16 mil, quite happy with that. Let me just show you the squad. So we had, not that Godseeker, I didn't use my +4. We had Rector just in enough stats to land her decreased attack with accuracy and enough stats to land her resistance. And then I was punching for around 250 speed. Obviously, outside of that, it's just defensive stats because all of her damage is going to come from War Master. She doesn't really do damage. So it's all about having War Master and then enough stats to resist stuff and to land her decreased attack. Sepulchre had 6-piece protection on. Again, wanted to land my decrease attack. So we had, you know, over 350 accuracy is what I'm aiming for right now. Till we get the full kind of stat breakdown, we don't know exactly what it is, but this feels quite comfy. 250 odd speed again, and then good defensive stats. We've got Geo, the main man. So I was using this one here with reflex gear on, really trying to rotate back to my A3 as often as I could. Did have War Master on as well. And again, we had the over 370 odd accuracy to make sure we land stuff. And then I'll just punch him for speed, really. I don't need any offensive stats for him. I just need speed and stuff. We then had Phoenix. Phoenix is a +2. But again, he's in Relentless Gear. He didn't need to be in Relentless Gear, actually. It's just the build I already had him in. I was looking for the accuracy to land his stuff. And then I actually punched for a bit of resistance. But I don't think this resistance number was enough unless decreased accuracy was on from Geo. So it's kind of like a needless set of stats. So other than that, I was just building him for damage. He's got like a attack % chest on and crit rate gloves because I couldn't get to the crit damage ones. I didn't want to go too over the top in stats, which means I massively over-tuned on his crit rate just so that he wasn't crazy statted because I knew he was +2'd. And then we've got, who was the last one? Godseeker. So again, I didn't go for the +4 one. I went for this one. Punched for resistance. Doesn't need accuracy in the kit. So resistance, speed, and then defensive stats. And again, we went for War Master here. I think that's all of them, right? So look, it's the startings really. All I'm trying to do with these videos right now is give you a direction. Yeah, depends on what level you're fighting. Depends on the champions you've got, all that type of stuff. But as I said at the start, decrease attack, block debuffs, healing, revive, decrease speed, probably my top 5 right now in terms of abilities to get into your team to have a chance of kind of getting some sort of distance through this fight. And ideally, within all of that, 2 people doing damage if you can. There you go, guys. I've been Hell Hades. Epics to the moon. I'll see you later.